Good evening, all. Welcome to today's Cancer Healing Journey Talks. Myself, Annie Jose from Community Outreach Demo ZenOnco.io and Love Heals Cancer. Cancer Healing Journey Talks helps cancer survivors and caregivers to share their journey with vast number of survivors and caregivers who have traveled or been traveling through this journey. This can inspire and motivate them for their faster recovery as well. Firstly, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Pilar Portela. She is a triple negative breast cancer survivor. Welcome, Pilar, for today's session. So over to you.
Thank you so very much. It's such an honor to be here today. And thank you so much for thinking of me and for me to get to share my story. So my name is Pilar Portela, as you were just saying, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. And just saying that survivor for a while was, I couldn't say it in the beginning. So it was quite interesting. I couldn't believe it that I had survived. So I had triple negative. I was stage B. And unfortunately, I found out, I would say 4 years ago, Christmas time. So Christmas time is supposed to be jolly and merry, but I was told December 9th, 2017 by my doctor that I had breast cancer. So when I first found out, for me, I don't know if you want me to share this or not. It was very hard when when they're telling you and then you go in person and your doctor tells you, it makes it very real. So that day, my husband and I were in shock. He was with me. And when the doctor said to me, so now I have a social worker outside who's going to come in and talk to you. And she's going to go over your whole plan. For me, that was shocking and really made it real. So we went over the plan, and first they thought I was going to need surgery and then chemo, but because the way I had 3 tumors on my left breast, and because of the way they were sitting and they were right on the muscle wall, we decided to go and do chemotherapy first. So we did 5 months of chemotherapy. And then initially they were saying just a mastectomy because it was on one breast, but then I opted for a double mastectomy. Because for me, I wanted to it came on very aggressively. The cancer grew within a year. So I decided I needed to treat it aggressively, and I opted to remove the other breast. And then I followed with radiation, 5 weeks of radiation. And then I had expanders, and from expanders, then I did the reconstructive surgery. So all in all, I would say it was a whole year of treatment and recovery and fighting.
Also, like what all treatment you underwent as a part of the cancer journey? You went for mastectomy. Did you have any chemo or radiation as well?
Yes, I had 5 months of chemotherapy. In the beginning, they call it the Red Devil. I'm so used to calling it that. And then Taxol. So I would say for 3 months, for 2 months, I was doing the Red Devil every 2 weeks. And that was rough. And then for 3 months after, I was doing every week chemotherapy. So that was rough. That was very rough. And then I recovered for a little bit. I had a double mastectomy and then the expanders, and then we started the radiation. And I didn't need to do it, but I opted to do it. And so that in itself, so, in the first instance, when they tell you this and they tell you the plan, it's overwhelming for a woman. It's very overwhelming. But after advice of a colleague of mine, she said, take it step by step, treatment by treatment, week by week, month by month. If you think of everything you have to do, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to get scared and you're going to want to back out. So I said, okay, and then someone said to me, how do you eat an elephant? Because that's how you feel. It's one big, huge, massive elephant you have to take in. And she said to me, you eat it little by little, and you take it little by little. And next thing you know, you're done. And I said, oh, that's fine. That's funny because this is a huge, big elephant. And you have to find humor. Then Another thing I would say that I did, I would do a lot of the things that the hospital offered. They offered massages, yoga. There were also cancer groups. I joined Link of Hope Sisters online through a colleague of mine, and it's a great group that we get together. We just got together last Saturday for Christmas, and we exchanged gifts, and we all each talked about our journey again. And some women were going through, as we're going through COVID, some are going through this cancer journey. And we were hugging them and we were giving them hope and support. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And some of them, even myself, we were like, should we go? Should we not go? But we decided to go. And I was so glad that I went, because it's so wonderful to meet other women that are going through this or have gone through it. Having that support is so important, and especially of your family and your friends. One more thing that was very hard, when the doctors told me I had the cancer, the first thing that came to mind, I have 2 young daughters, and my thing was, how am I going to tell my daughters that I have cancer? That was the hardest thing, because here you are, you're scared, and you're scared for your life. How am I going to convince my daughters that mom's going to be okay? I'm fine, because a lot of times we are the foundation, right, of the house. If we fall apart, everything's going to fall apart. So that for me was hard, telling them. My husband and I told them, and having to be strong and not cry, because I felt if I would have cried, then everything would have fallen apart, and their faith and hope was going to fall apart. So that was very hard, going through that with 2, I would say, a young grade school child and then a teenager, was very difficult, because at the time, my teenager, when you have a teenager, everything is about, how does this affect me? And I remember having to go to a therapist, and that's okay. Going to a family therapist, going to therapy, having your kids go through that, that's fine, because some people feel that if you do that, it's a form of weakness, and it's not. For me, it helped my daughter and me. They offered something at the hospital where I was at, music therapy for the kids. And so they were painting and then listening to music and talking to the therapist, and they didn't know that they were going through therapy as they were, painting and listening to the music. And things started coming out from my daughter, flowing out. So she came back. I would say when I saw her after that, I had my daughter back, because it was very hard, going through the regular teenage things, and your mom has cancer. That was very difficult for her.
Right. So did you try any alternative treatment yourself, like naturopathy, Ayurvedic treatment, any such sort of things as a part of the cancer treatment?
Honestly, I was doing yoga for cancer, and then I was drinking shakes, because I couldn't eat. I was very sick sometimes. I was trying to eat healthier. So they also offered me a nutritionist. So I took that, and they offered me, it was a cancer massage therapy. So she would give me cranial massages, Reiki, and some other things that we tried that helped a lot. Sometimes I was very weak. I would get headaches, nausea. I was very lethargic. So that also helped. But any other type of natural treatments aside from that, no, I did not.
Okay. So did you make any lifestyle changes during or after the treatment?
I did make lifestyle changes. One of the things is they don't know if this is something I was told, that stress feeds the cancer. So I would say I started changing my life, because one of the things, I think being a Latina here in the US, we always try to please everyone and try to be perfect, or the impression of being perfect. And now I'm just telling myself, you know what? I'm not perfect. It's okay. It's fine. So doing that is very important. I'm a type A personality, so I've had to teach myself, that's fine. You can't get to this. You're not going to do that. Taking things off my plate, taking things off my children as well, because we're very active. So, they were doing ballet. They were so involved with ballet, and I was running around all over Miami, taking them to this and gymnastics and ballet and school things and trying to be perfect. I was running myself ragged. So I don't know if that had to do, the cancer formed with that. We'll never know. But I will say that my husband and I, after everything, we sold our house. We bought another house. We rebuilt a house. I changed my home. And so now at night, we go for walks with our dog. I try to eat very healthy. I've always done that, but I'm really looking now at everything. How many preservatives are in things. I try to make things on my own instead of having things made as much as possible. Cutting back on a lot of red meats, as much as I love it, but cutting back on that, eating more salads. I have more shakes with, blueberry, and spinach, and just really, I would say the key is really cutting back on my stress, and not being so hard on myself. We just don't know, because that's another thing. After the chemo, they tell you with all the treatment that you've had, it could cause heart problems down the road. You can get cancer again somewhere else. So you really have to take care of yourself. And I jog now. I work myself back up. So I jog on the trail. So before I hopped on, I jogged this morning 4 times a week. So I'm really doing my best to live an active, stress-free as much as possible life.
Yeah, that's great, Pilar. So, what do you think about the stigmas attached to the cancer, especially regarding breast cancer? There are a lot of stigmas going around. So what do you think about that?
That's a good question. It's funny because that's something my doctor told me that the first thing that she said to me, Dr. Blake, she's wonderful. And she said, people are going to tell you it's something you ate, something you inhaled, because I don't smoke. I don't drink a lot. So I've always been pretty good. I've always been pretty healthy. So I had people, even my own family members, saying, oh, well, it's something that maybe you were eating this, or it could have been that. And everyone makes assumptions of how you probably got it. People are saying it's environmental. So then you start racking the brains, you start thinking about it. It's not inherited. Mine wasn't. So, even when they did the panel and they checked my genetics, we'll never know what it was. It just grew. And so you can rack your brain thinking about it, killing yourself over it, but you just don't know. You just try to live a healthy life as much as possible. Also, before that, the cancer, I had breast implants, right? So of course I had family members saying, your breast implants caused your cancer, your breast cancer. And there really is no proof or evidence about that yet, because I live in Miami, and everywhere you walk, people have plastic surgery and breast implants. And I remember talking to my doctor about this. She said, if that were the case, then every woman in Miami who's had breast implants or enhancement of any sort would be walking around with breast cancer. So that's not the case.
Right.
So that hasn't been established yet. So it's very hard. And what people don't realize too, men get breast cancer too. It's another stigma. There are men that are dealing with breast cancer, and we don't know why. That's just, so in part of our group, we have 1 or 2 men that had to go through the surgery, the chemo, radiation, and they don't know how they got it either. So it's just one of those mysteries.
Yeah, right. So one last question. So that will be, if you have to sum up your journey in one sentence, what would that be?
I've never been asked that question. if I had to sum up a journey, I would say it was a very hard journey. You know, that's something I really wish that no one has to go through, but unfortunately they do, and especially now during COVID. I found my little warrior inside. It was, you know, I've been through other things in my life, but this was hard. It was a hard journey, and it made me love who I was inside, because I discovered who I am, because it strips, you have to love yourself inside, because I lost my hair, my eyebrows, my lashes. I had things on my skin from the treatment. So you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day, looking into you. I would look at myself and say, I love you. So you have to realize you love yourself first. Because it's hard, you know, when you lose your hair and you're walking out there with a wig or with a turban. By the end, I was just with a turban or my little beanie, because I just got so tired of wearing the wig. And you have to say, I love you, this, you know, who you are inside, and you're going to get through this. You become, I feel like I'm a stronger person. And I can, after going through this, I can go through anything. But yeah, it's you really get to find out who you are. I don't know if anyone else has said this to you that you've interviewed.
Yeah, that was really nice. Thank you so much, Pilar, for such a wonderful session. It was really inspiring. So I'm pretty sure that this will really motivate people out there who have traveled or been traveling through cancer. So once again, thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. I hope this inspires people and moms that are going through this. And, you know, and again, I want to reiterate, it's okay to join all the activities that they give you at the hospital. See, there's groups online for young women that are in their 30s that have cancer, or just cancer in general. And it's okay to take the support and care, and you have to take care of yourself at the end of the day. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, and have a wonderful holiday season.